Dudes, what's up? Max here, and I got some pretty good news for you guys that are looking for a constant stream of Killer Instinct information. Microsoft Studios is hosting a weekly live stream taking place every Thursday, and they'll be going over Xbox Live Arcade games, including Killer Instinct. Now, what I want to talk about in this video is the one that happened last week. Last Thursday had so much freaking news and information about the game that we did not know it would blow your freaking mind. So let's get started. First up is character colors. It looks like all the base characters in the game are going to have about 6 colors available at launch. This does not include any other things like the classic Killer Instinct outfits or the additional accessories you can put on characters, which has been recently confirmed that characters will have accessories similar to games like Tekken Tag Tournament 2 or like Virtua Fighter and stuff like that. I can't freaking wait to see that stuff. But the 2 colors that really caught my eye within all the ones that are revealed so far are Golden Retriever Saberwolf, I'm digging the Golden Dog, as well as this freaking red version of Glacius. Holy shit, this is sick! This might actually be one of my favorite freaking things in the game right now. I don't know what it is about it, it just looks so damn cool. And it reminds me why I like the old Killer Instinct so much, because it had so many character color options. Dude, honestly, and I feel this is the same for a lot of people, if you want to make people really happy for something that seems to be really easy to do, just add a shit ton of character colors into the game, and a lot of folks will be like, thank you so much, this is exactly what we wanted, including dudes like me. You'll also notice that some of the pre- and endgame font styles have changed. There was like the blood splatter, kind of Street Fighter 4 looking similar like ink splatter style that was kind of spread throughout the game, and it looks like that's kind of going away now. I think that stuff might have actually had been temporary, because if you notice at the beginning of a match, there's this like hard metal ready as well as different ones at the end. However, this stuff has been confirmed not to be final at all. It's still very much in a pre-production phase, and they're trying to more implement what I think is the font style very similar to the main logo with like the burning underneath and like the charred metal. And personally, I think it looks great. It looks a lot better than the other font in my opinion. I think it fits the game a lot better because, come on, let's be real here. Killer Instinct is metal as shit at its core. Along with this, we got a pretty in-depth look at what Sadira is like in the game fighting against other characters. You guys might have caught my breakdowns with Rich, but it was just going over what the character can do and what she's capable of, and now we get to see the guys at Microsoft actually going at it on her stage, and then stuff happens when she does her Ultra. I don't want to talk about it, but her Ultra looks pretty freaking cool. I'm kind of down for her, like, juggling you and then flipping you into the air. And then the thing comes out at the end. Moving on, there's a couple of big announcements that came in this one, and 2 things that I'm very happy with. One of them hasn't been completely confirmed yet, but was teased. And the first one is the fact that they changed the way Ultras work. Not completely, they work similar to how they did before, but they're a bit more functional now. The big issue with Ultras was that they're so long that they kind of interrupt the competitive space of the game. Instead of going into that neutral state, they actually added a giant hit, like one big splash of damage at the very end of your Ultra attack as soon as you press the medium buttons or the bluff buttons. So you can see here, Glacius is the only one that actually has his animation done yet, from what I understand. And he slams the ground, this huge ice shard goes flying up all over the place, and the opponent goes wailing back. It's cool. It's a neat extra way to add something to the Ultra, and it's like a nice little bonus. Instead of going on with this Ultra for big and long freaking time, you can just immediately hit your bluff buttons, which are the medium punch and medium kick, and you'll do what I think they're calling it as a Ultra Ender. So that's pretty freaking cool. A new way to end the opponent, which was one of my personal gripes with the game as of right now, is that for Killer Instinct being like a brutal, violent way, there wasn't a lot of ways to end a match other than a normal KO or an Ultra, or technically a double Ultra if you have Instinct, and this is just something to add into the pot. They were talking about fatalities, they were talking about No Mercies making a return, but that doesn't seem like that's going to be happening until down the line, maybe in Season 2, maybe into next year, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to more cool ways to end a match. And last but not least was the Killer Instinct beta program. Yes, they actually talked about this brief suggestion about something about a beta involving maybe future characters. Now, there's so little details, and I don't even know if this has actually been confirmed yet or if there is any solid info, but this was thrown around a bit that there might be future characters that they're working on, and they will give the public access to them if you have a copy of Killer Instinct already. So, like I said, how it works, I don't know, but that's pretty freaking cool. For you guys that don't know, a lot of fighting games have these things called location tests where they get people to come out to a specific location, they take notes, they watch how people play the game, and then they pretty much go back into the ringer to work on them for like 6 months. What they're maybe planning on doing now is actually giving you access to these characters, whether they're like in their pre-phase, they might be broken, they might not be completely done, but you get to play as them to help them maybe tune and balance. So that sounds freaking awesome to me. It could potentially mean that perhaps the characters we're waiting for in Season 1 we might get to play earlier than their presumed release date, which I think is like first quarter of 2014. Either way, I don't know what those characters are going to be. I hope Fulgor's included. I hope Cinder's included, or Riptor, or something like that. I really want to see some classic Killer Instinct characters. I almost don't want anyone from KI2 until Season 2. But this is all really good news and information. It pretty much allows us to play maybe the stuff we really wanted to play a little bit early, and to have it go online with a bunch of people trying to figure out the same thing to try to like help them out with characters, which sounds really freaking cool. So, a lot of news and information that came from this stuff. I'll do my best to hopefully get footage of this the next opportunity I get to go down to Double Helix and maybe record some footage. If anything, I'd like to give like really clear visualizations of what's going on with Sadira's stage and her Ultra and all these new Ultra Enders if they're available yet. I hope so, man. There's a lot of stuff that's happening with this game with each build that seems to be upgrading things kind of like huge, by like huge margins every time I see it, so stay tuned, dudes. There's a lot more coming very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back as soon as I possibly can covering more of this stuff. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.